You reveal your plans to feel important, not realizing visibility drains power. The moment intentions are seen, resistance forms, predators adjust, and control quietly slips away. Visibility is exposure. You were taught that clarity earns trust, that openness creates alignment, that if people understand your intentions, they will support them. This belief is not innocent, it is dangerous. In environments where power exists, visibility is not virtue, it is exposure. Predators do not fear your strength, they fear your timing. The moment you advertise intent, you surrender timing. You allow others to prepare counters, form alliances, and quietly reposition. What you called transparency, they interpret as an opening. What you called honesty, they mark as impatience. Power operates like warfare, not conversation. Armies do not announce routes. Generals do not explain objectives to civilians. Surgeons do not narrate incisions mid-operation. Yet socially, men are trained to broadcast plans as if anticipation creates momentum. It does not. It creates resistance. The human mind is wired to challenge what it can see. Visible intent triggers instinctive opposition, not always aggressive, often subtle. Delays, questions, doubt, helpful suggestions that dilute direction. When your aim is known, everyone becomes a stakeholder. Stakeholders interfere. Opacity, by contrast, denies others the luxury of adjustment. Silence compresses reaction time. When action arrives without warning, the environment is forced to respond instead of prepare. This is the first separation between predator and prey. Who adapts to whom? Weak men seek acknowledgement before results. They announce goals to borrow motivation from attention. Strong men understand that attention is a tax. Every eye adds friction. Every opinion adds drag. Power moves best when unobserved, like pressure beneath the surface. Visibility also reveals hierarchy. When you explain yourself, you implicitly ask permission to proceed. You signal that your movement requires validation. Those above you feel entitled to approve or deny. Those below you feel licensed to judge. Silence removes that permission structure entirely. Machiavelli understood this coldly. What is unseen cannot be opposed directly. When your intentions are hidden, others must guess. Guessing breeds hesitation. Hesitation creates gaps. Gaps are where power advances. Consider how quickly respect erodes once your plans are public. People smile, nod, then privately evaluate whether to comply, compete, or undermine. You become legible. And legibility is the first step toward control by someone else. This is not about secrecy for drama. It is about denying leverage. Information is leverage, and every detail you reveal hands a tool to the observer. You think you are sharing direction. You are actually distributing weapons. Predators do not rush to be understood. They move, then let reality explain for them. Results silence questions more effectively than explanations ever could. By the time others comprehend what happened, the position has already shifted. The lens must change here. Discipline is not just self-restraint, it is restraint of exposure, knowing when not to speak, when not to clarify, when not to announce progress. Silence is not absence, it is positioning. From this point forward, the old instinct to be seen must be treated as a liability. Visibility does not amplify power, it corrodes it. And the man who learns to move without announcing learns the first rule of dominance. Never give the environment time to adapt to you. The psychological cost of being seen. The moment you are seen moving with intent, the social environment begins to work against you. Not out of malice, out of instinct. Humans are competitive animals pretending to be cooperative. Visibility activates comparison, and comparison activates defense. When people see your direction clearly, they do not ask, "How can I help?" They ask, "Where does this place me?" If your movement threatens status, relevance, or control, even indirectly, their nervous system responds before their manners do. Resistance forms quietly. This is the hidden cost of being seen. You trigger subconscious recalibration in others. They start adjusting their behavior around you. Some attempt to slow you down. Others rush to get ahead. Some align temporarily, only to defect later. None of this requires hostility. It is automatic. Announced intent also invites evaluation. Once your goal is visible, it becomes debatable. People feel entitled to weigh in, suggest alternatives, and reshape your direction. Advice appears helpful, but its real function is control. Influence is exercised through concern. Psychologically, humans distrust forward momentum they did not initiate. Your clarity becomes their discomfort. To relieve it, they poke holes in your plan. Ask for justification. Demand explanation. Each explanation weakens you, not because it is wrong, but because it positions you as a negotiator instead of an operator. There is another layer most men miss. Visible intent attracts envy before achievement. When you speak about what you will do, you invite comparison without proof. This is the worst timing. You provoke emotional responses without having established dominance. You awaken rivalry while still vulnerable. Silence reverses this dynamic. When your movement is unclear, people hesitate to interfere. They lack enough data to justify opposition. Their minds remain busy speculating instead of acting. Speculation consumes energy. Confusion buys you time. Being seen also collapses ambiguity, and ambiguity is protection. When others cannot fully read you, they project. Some underestimate you, others overestimate you. Both outcomes are useful. Certainty, on the other hand, sharpens their response. Consider how authority behaves under scrutiny. Judges deliberate in private. Executives make decisions behind closed doors. Military commands operate on need to know. Power structures are opaque by design because exposure invites challenge. Yet socially, men are conditioned to do the opposite, to narrate growth, announce transitions, and explain motives. This conditioning is not accidental. Transparent men are easier to manage. Predictable men are easier to rank. The psychological cost compounds over time. Each explanation trains others to expect access. Each disclosure lowers the threshold for interference. Eventually, silence feels rude, not because it is, but because you have trained people to feel entitled to your intentions. Predators never grant that entitlement. They understand that uncertainty creates asymmetry. When others do not know your next move, they must react instead of plan. Reaction is weaker than strategy. Always. This is why power decays when seen. Not because visibility is immoral, but because it equalizes the field. And power only exists where the field is uneven. From here, the distinction sharpens. Some men perform progress, others execute it. One group talks to feel momentum. The other moves and lets absence of explanation do the work. Once you see this mechanism clearly, the impulse to announce fades. You recognize it for what it is, a request for validation that costs you leverage. And leverage, once given away, is never returned willingly. The loud planner versus the silent operator. There are two types of men in every hierarchy. One announces movement, the other moves. The difference between them determines who is watched and who is feared. The loud planner believes visibility creates pressure to succeed. He talks about goals, timelines, and future positions as if declaration itself generates power. In reality, it generates supervision. The more he speaks, the more eyes follow. The more eyes follow, the fewer moves he can make without resistance. The silent operator understands something colder. The environment cannot stop what it cannot track. He withholds direction not out of shyness, but strategy. Silence is not indecision, it is camouflage. Behaviorally, these men broadcast entirely different signals. The loud planner leaks anticipation. He seeks confirmation through reaction. His energy is externalized. This marks him immediately as manageable. People know where he is going, how fast, and why. That makes him predictable. Predictability is prey. The silent operator, by contrast, leaks nothing. His actions appear disconnected until it is too late to intervene. Because observers cannot map his trajectory, they cannot coordinate against him. This creates a subtle unease. Unease is often mistaken for weakness, but it is actually respect-forming without permission. Watch how people treat each archetype. The loud planner receives advice. The silent operator receives space. Advice is control disguised as support. Space is the concession power makes when it lacks leverage. There is also a difference in how each handles uncertainty. The loud planner speaks to stabilize his emotions. He narrates progress to reassure himself and others. The silent operator tolerates internal pressure without release. He absorbs uncertainty and converts it into patience. This capacity alone separates ranks. Social hierarchies unconsciously reward this trait. Men who speak less are interrupted less. Men who explain less are questioned less. Not because they are better, but because they appear harder to move. Machiavellian dynamics are merciless here. Once a man is classified as a loud planner, he is placed on a mental map. Others know when to challenge him, how to delay him, where to undermine him. He becomes an open project. The silent operator remains undefined. Undefined men cannot be attacked cleanly. Any move against them risks miscalculation, and miscalculation carries social cost. So most people wait. Waiting favors the man already moving. There is a deeper cruelty in this distinction. The loud planner often works harder. He exerts more effort emotionally and verbally, yet effort is irrelevant to power. Outcomes are all that register, and outcomes belong to those who preserved optionality. Silence preserves optionality. It allows pivots without explanation. It allows abandonment of plans without loss of face. It allows aggression without warning. The loud planner forfeits all of these the moment he speaks. This is why predators appear calm, while others are busy announcing struggle. Calmness is not absence of effort. It is effort hidden from the environment. And what the environment cannot see, it cannot resist. If this chapter unsettles you, it should. It means you recognize yourself in the wrong archetype. Recognition is not correction, but it is the first fracture in the identity that needs to die. Because the longer you remain loud, the more efficiently the world will manage you. History rewards. The unannounced power has never belonged to the most vocal. It has belonged to the least visible until impact. History is not shaped by those who explained their intentions. It is shaped by those who acted before explanation was possible. Every conquest, political takeover, corporate displacement, and social overthrow follows the same pattern. Movement preceded understanding. By the time the environment recognized the shift, resistance was already irrelevant. This is not coincidence. It is design. Nature itself enforces this law. Predators do not signal attack. They stalk. They wait. They close distance in silence. Prey survives by detection. Predators survive by delay. The moment the prey knows, the advantage collapses. Visibility equalizes. Surprise dominates. Human systems operate no differently, despite their etiquette. The man who announces ambition invites counter-ambition. The faction that broadcasts reform allows entrenched interests to fortify. The employee who signals departure triggers containment. Every visible intention gives the system time to defend itself. Look at history closely, and you will notice a brutal consistency. Those who lost were often morally right, transparent, and early in their declarations. They believed clarity would rally support. Instead, it consolidated opposition. Machiavelli warned against this centuries ago, not as cynicism, but as realism. Men do not resist ideas, they resist threats to position. The moment your intention threatens hierarchy, the hierarchy responds. Silence delays that response until it is too late. Even revolutions that appeared public were privately planned. The noise came after infrastructure was secured. The speeches followed the positioning. Those who spoke too soon were purged first, by enemies and allies alike. There is also a psychological comfort people take in predictability. When your intentions are known, others feel safer challenging you because the risk is calculable. Unknown trajectories create fear. Fear enforces restraint better than rules ever could. History also punishes those who mistake visibility for momentum. Many movements burned brightly and died quickly because they attracted attention before consolidation. Attention is heat. Heat attracts pressure. Pressure collapses weak structures. The unannounced, however, grow in the dark. They harden before exposure. When they surface, they are no longer asking for permission. They are presenting a fact. Facts cannot be debated in the same way intentions can. This is why legacy is often misunderstood. We remember the moment of emergence, not the years of silence that made resistance futile. We praise boldness, ignoring the patience that made boldness safe. If you want to survive in any competitive domain, internalize this pattern. Exposure before readiness is self-sabotage. It feels courageous. It is naive. Power does not reward courage. It rewards timing. This chapter is meant to erase a comforting lie, that being open puts you on the right side of history. History does not have sides. It has outcomes. And outcomes belong to those who moved before they were noticed. At this point, the threat should feel real, because it is not abstract. It is operating on you daily, whenever you speak before positioning, announce before securing, or explain before executing. Next comes the reversal, how discipline and silence stop being restraint and become a weapon. Strategic silence as a weapon. Silence is not absence, it is compression. It concentrates intention into action without leakage. When used strategically, it becomes one of the most efficient weapons available to a man who understands power. Most men go silent only when they have nothing to say. Predators go silent when they have everything to lose by speaking. This distinction is invisible to the naive, but unmistakable to those who operate in hierarchies. Strategic silence does three things simultaneously. First, it denies information. Second, it destabilizes opponents. Third, it preserves optionality. No other behavior accomplishes all three at once. When you withhold intent, others are forced to infer. Inference creates anxiety. Anxiety fractures coordination. People begin acting independently instead of collectively. This alone weakens resistance more effectively than confrontation ever could. Silence also reverses the burden of effort. The man who speaks must justify. The man who stays quiet is assumed to be calculating. In social and professional environments, this assumption shifts power subtly but decisively. Others lean in. They reveal more. They over-explain to fill the vacuum. This is where discipline reveals its true function. Discipline is not about forcing productivity. It is about preventing emotional leakage. Every time you feel the urge to announce progress, defend direction, or clarify motives, discipline restrains you. Not because silence is polite, but because exposure is costly. Strategic silence allows asymmetric aggression. You can move decisively while appearing passive. By the time action becomes visible, debate is obsolete. The environment is responding to outcomes, not intentions. This behavior shift is uncomfortable at first. You will feel invisible, unacknowledged, underestimated. Good. Underestimation is a shield. It lowers vigilance. It delays reaction. It invites complacency from those who believe you are not a threat. Power rarely announces itself honestly. It allows others to misjudge it. Silence feeds that misjudgment. While others debate what you might do, you are already executing what they never considered. There is also a secondary advantage. Silence filters allies. Those who respect you without explanations are usable. Those who demand access to your intentions are liabilities. Strategic silence clarifies this quickly. Machiavellian strategy favors behaviors that operate beneath moral theater. Silence offends those who expect entitlement. That offense reveals exactly who would interfere if given the chance. To wield silence effectively, you must detach from the need to be understood. Understanding is not power. Control is. And control depends on asymmetry, not agreement. This chapter should recalibrate your instincts. Speaking feels active, but it is often reactive. Silence feels passive, but it is preparatory. One exposes you to interference. The other prepares the ground for dominance. If you adopt this weapon fully, your presence will change. Conversations will shorten. Probing will increase. Respect will rise without explanation. That is not coincidence. That is the environment recalibrating around someone it cannot read. Next, the final step. The identity that must be destroyed to sustain this behavior. Erasing the performative self. To maintain silence, something in you must die. Not metaphorically, functionally. The part that performs progress. The part that seeks acknowledgement before outcomes. The part that confuses being seen with being effective. This identity was conditioned into you early. Speak up, share goals, be open. Explain yourself so others don't misunderstand. This conditioning does not produce leaders. It produces legible men. And legible men are easy to steer. The performative self is addicted to reaction. It measures progress through feedback loops. Likes, approval, reassurance, agreement. Remove the audience, and it panics. That panic is the signal that this identity is weak, and therefore dangerous to carry forward. Predators cannot afford that dependency. They operate without emotional witnesses. Their confidence is not reinforced externally. It is anchored internally to execution. If a move fails, they adjust in silence. If it succeeds, they let reality speak. Erasing the performative self requires accepting a colder posture. You will be misunderstood longer. You will be underestimated more often. You will receive less encouragement. None of this is a loss. It is insulation. This identity death also removes the impulse to defend yourself. Defense reveals value systems. Value systems reveal leverage points. The man who does not explain cannot be easily attacked because there is nothing to debate. You must become comfortable letting others project narratives onto you. Some will assume incompetence, others arrogance. Both are useful. Projection occupies their attention while you preserve focus. This is not isolation. It is sovereignty. You choose what enters your internal world and what leaves it. Words become tools again, not emotional vents. At this stage, silence is no longer effortful. It becomes default. You speak only when speech advances position. Everything else is withheld, not out of secrecy, but efficiency. Machiavelli would recognize this shift immediately. It is the transition from subject to operator, from reactive participant to strategic force. The man no longer seeks alignment. He creates conditions others must align to. Once this identity is replaced, relapse becomes obvious. The urge to announce feels childish. The need to clarify feels dangerous. You recognize these impulses as remnants of an outdated survival strategy. You are no longer trying to be liked, understood, or validated. You are trying to remain unopposed long enough to secure position. After that, explanations are optional. This chapter completes the internal transformation. What remains is the final warning, the line most men cross without noticing. Final warning: seen men are managed. If there is one rule you cannot forget, it is this: the moment you are fully seen, you are no longer free. You are mapped, measured, and managed. Power does not need to destroy you when it can simply contain you. Most men lose before they ever confront resistance. They expose themselves too early. They trade mystery for reassurance. They explain until the environment understands them well enough to neutralize them quietly. This is the final trap. Once you have momentum, visibility feels deserved. You want recognition. You believe results have earned transparency. That belief is fatal. Power is not preserved by fairness. It is preserved by asymmetry. The environment never stops adapting. The moment your patterns are clear, counter-patterns form. When your reactions are predictable, leverage is applied precisely. You are not attacked. You are redirected, delayed, diluted. This is why high positions are lonely. Not because power isolates, but because silence is required to keep it. Those who cannot tolerate silence will eventually surrender position for applause. The warning is simple and merciless. If people know what you will do next, they will decide how much space to give you. That space will always be less than you need. Ambiguity is not deception, it is defense. It forces others to hesitate. Hesitation keeps them from organizing against you. While they wait, you move. From this point forward, measure every word by its cost. Ask one question only. Does this give the environment time to adapt to me? If the answer is yes, withhold it. Power does not announce itself. It arrives, establishes reality, and lets others explain it afterward. Remember this when the urge to speak returns, because it will. Speaking feels human. Silence feels inhuman. And that is precisely why it works.